Hey guys, welcome to Nerdsplosion. My name's Silver, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a speed burn deck that you can make for just under $20. So, we're going to start with showing you the lands. What we have is 16 basic mountains, we have 1 Ruminap Ruins, 1 Blighted Gorge, 2 Desert of the Fervent, and 2 Zaffron Voids. Ruminap Ruins allows you to tap it for a colorless, or you can pay 1 and put 1 red mana to your mana pool, or you can pay 4 and sacrifice it and deal 2 damage to each opponent. Blighted Gorge allows you to tap it for a colorless, or you can pay 5 and sacrifice it to deal 2 damage to target creature or player. Zaffron Void, when it enters the battlefield, allows you to scry 1, and you can tap it for a colorless. Desert of the Fervent enters the battlefield tapped, but you can tap it for 1 red mana, or you can pay 2 and cycle it to discard it and draw a card. Then, we have our creatures. The first creature is Glorybringer. Now, Glorybringer is the most expensive card in this deck. You can get the non-holographic regular version for $4 a piece, or you can get these ones for $7 a piece. I prefer these ones because, let's face it, the art on these is pretty awesome. Glorybringer is a 5-drop, 4/4 with flying and haste, and you can exert it when it attacks to deal 4 damage to target non-dragon creature an opponent controls. And there are 2 copies. Then we have Captain Lannery Storm. Captain Lannery Storm is a legendary human pirate, 3-drop 2/2 with haste, and whenever it attacks you get a treasure token that you can sacrifice for mana. Then we have Heirs of Stormkirk. Heirs of Stormkirk is a 4-drop 2/2 with Intimidate, and whenever it deals damage to a player, it gets a 1/1 counter. Intimidate means it can only be blocked by red or artifact creatures. Then we have Erdwall Ripper. Erdwall Ripper is a 3-drop 2/1 with haste, that whenever it deals damage to a player, you put a 1/1 counter on it, and there are 4 copies. Then we have Falkenrath Exterminator. It's a 2-drop 1/1, and whenever Falkenrath Exterminator deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then you can pay 3 and Falkenrath Exterminator deals damage to target creature equal to the number of 1/1 counters on it. And there are 2 copies. Then we have Flameblade Adept. Flameblade Adept is a 1-drop 1/2 with Menace, and whenever you cycle or discard a card, Flameblade Adept gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And there are 3 copies. Then we have Bloodcrazed Neonate. Bloodcrazed Neonate is a 2-drop 2/1, and it has to attack every turn if able. And if it deals combat damage to a player, it gets a 1/1 counter. And there are 3 copies. Then we have Fervent Cathar. Fervent Cathar is a 3-drop 2/1 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn, and there are 3 copies. Then we'll come to the sorceries, instants, and enchantments. The first one is Seismic Stomp. Seismic Stomp is a 2-drop sorcery that makes it to where creatures without flying can't block this turn. There are 3 copies. Then we have Hijack. Hijack is a 3-drop sorcery and allows you to gain control of target artifact or creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it and it gains haste until end of turn. And there are 2 copies. Then we have Goblin War Drums. Goblin War Drums is a 3-drop enchantment, and each attacking creature you control gains Menace. Menace means that a creature can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures, and there are 2 copies. Then we have Claws of Valakut. Claws of Valakut is a 3-drop, and enchanted creature gets +1/+0 for each mountain you control and has First Strike. First Strike means that if it were to deal combat damage with another creature, it would hit first. So if they're both 3/3s, your creature would kill the other one without taking damage, and there are 2 copies. Then we have Boulder Salvo. Boulder Salvo is a 5-drop sorcery, but it has Surge, and for its Surge you can pay 2, and if you cast another spell before you cast Boulder Salvo, you may pay 2 mana instead of its 5-drop mana cost. Boulder Salvo does 4 damage to target creature, and there are 3 copies. Then we have Incinerate. Incinerate is a 2-drop instant that deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and if a creature dealt damage this way dies, it can't be regenerated this turn. There are 4 copies. Then we have Pillar of Flame. Pillar of Flame is a 1-drop sorcery. Pillar of Flame deals 2 damage to target creature or player. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, it's exiled instead, and there are 4 copies. Now, I've personally ran this deck quite a number of times, and so far, it's very effective, especially if you make sure to combo Boulder Salvo with Pillar of Flame or Incinerate. You can knock out really big creatures for no more than 4 mana. You can also use that as a combo with Falkenrath Exterminator or Glorybringer. And the Menace and the creatures without flying can't block, and the Fervent Cathars are in here, so that the vampires in here, mainly Falkenrath Exterminator, Bloodcrazed Neonate, Stormkirk, and Erdwald Ripper, can hit your opponent directly, so that every time they swing, they get stronger. The 2 enchantments are in here, so that Claws of Valakut are in here, so that when you put it on your creature, if they're already harder to block, or if you play a card that makes it to where your opponent can't block it, you can hit them for a lot of damage. And with the number of the vampires in here that get stronger every time they hit an opponent, a really strong creature like that has first strike, even if it doesn't necessarily hit your opponent, you're still going to be able to kill one of their creatures. Now, this deck may not be able to win on turn 1 or turn 2, but by turn 5, if you play the cards right, you should be able to defeat your opponent by turn 5. Now, keep in mind, like I said, this deck costs less than $20. And that's with the 2 $7 versions of Glorybringer that I have in here. Almost all the cards in here cost only 10 cents. The exceptions being Falkenrath Exterminator, which costs 25, and Flameblade Adept, which also costs 25. But you can switch out Flameblade Adept with your own personal favorite for a 1-drop creature. I like Flameblade Adept because of his menace ability, and if you put Claws of Valakut on him, he is a very dangerous weapon. So, leave me your comments below. Make sure to hit subscribe and ding that bell to get more notifications for when new videos come out. Thank you, and you guys all have a nice day. This has been Nerd Explosion. Peace out, guys.